Well, Mark Skilton joins me now live from Warwick in the UK. He's a professor of practice in information systems and management at Warwick Business School. Professor Skilton, thanks for joining me. Google has been blocked on the Chinese mainland since it left the market in 2010. And like many Western websites, it can only be accessed in China with the use of a VPN. The main sticking point for Google's return has always been China's online censorship of many sensitive topics and websites. So why is Google willing to work now with the Chinese government? And is Google compromising its ethics by giving in to China's demands to block certain words and searches?
Yes, I mean, it's a really key question because obviously they voluntarily left or were decided to leave in 2010, as you say. We have to remember there's 1.4 billion people in China. It's the biggest mobile market in the world by many orders of magnitude. So I think from an economic point of view, Google just can't ignore it. Google makes most of its money, 90% out of advertising, which is really driven by the search engine. Obviously got YouTube, Google Maps and things. All of those are banned in China at the moment. So probably this is really an economic equation that they're looking at because it's such a big market. Most Chinese people use, virtually all of them, 90% of people in China use their mobile phones. Android is the biggest operating system over there. But I have to say, you have to look at the timing of this because with Trump and the tariffs, we read that up to $400 billion of Chinese trade by the end of the year could be under American tariffs. So the timing is quite interesting on this.
Well, as you mentioned, 1.4 billion people, 90% cell phone usage. I mean, walk down any streets in Beijing or Shanghai and everyone's staring at their phones. So what really could this mean for Google? I mean, how much of an impact could it have on the company if it is able to successfully re-enter the Chinese market?
Well, Google briefly had a 26% annual growth again last year. It's not as if they're declining, they're growing at double digit. And I think it's really, I would say, not just the search market with the advertising, this would be under censorship. It is compromising their goals, their beliefs, which their employees are reacting to. But I think really it's about the second level market, like connected cars, like other services that they could sell on the top of search. Search may be censored, but then they could potentially lobby the Chinese government to start selling other types of services. So there's a lot to be played for from that perspective at an economic level.
But is it possible for Google to re-enter the market and, as you say, be transparent, but at the same time, comply with China in censoring what people are searching for online?
Well, it's possible. When you look at Facebook, I think they've just set up an office. I read they're not. Facebook is still banned in China. If you look at the problem that Uber had and was beaten by the local incumbent, it's the whole consensus really is Chinese censorship is increasing, and from what we read from the Western side of reporting, clearly they believe they can get back into China, but they'll have to run by their rules. And I think that's the compromise. Back to the beginning of this piece was about, do Google employees want to support this? Because from an ethics point of view, from their recruiting drive, they want to attract good people. And if they're seen to be compromising those values, then it may impact their home market in terms of recruiting, for example. So they're kind of playing it both ways. But one looks at positively that if they're in China, then maybe they see they can do more lobbying. And maybe, as I said, the timing of this is interesting, with Donald Trump trying to break down, as it were, the Chinese behavior, shall we say, in terms of intellectual property right theft, allegedly, and various other behaviors. And maybe Google have judged that this might be a good time to try and get back into China.
All right, Mark Skilton, thank you for joining us and for giving us your thoughts on this today.